Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be testing out the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Matte Foundation. So let's get started. So this will set you back $8.99 in the UK and is available in 6 shades. It claims to be 24-hour wearing matte full coverage foundation, and it comes in a little squeezy tube like this, so very good for travel because it's not going to smash, and you get 35 mils, which is like 5 mils more than most foundations. There is no pump, but it has this like little nozzle, and obviously the tube is squeezy, so it's very easy to get the product out right to the end when it is empty. It has no SPF in it, and it also claims to be waterproof and steam proof, so I guess really good for hot climates and really long wearing under difficult conditions, or so it claims. Now the big issue with this foundation for me is that I have this in the shade 30 Honey. And this is the deepest shade that they seem to have in the UK. I've checked the L'Oreal website, I've checked the Boots website, I've been into Boots and Superdrug, and this is the deepest shade that I can find anywhere. There are only 6 shades, and I picked this up when I was back from my holidays like a while ago. And I went in and I wanted to try this foundation, and I picked up this shade and just swatched it on the back of my hand. And I was like, do you know what, this is too light. It's too light for me. And that is where the problem lies with this foundation. So let me just show you. The name of the shade Honey will tell you that's usually for a lot of brands, like not even halfway through their shades would be like where the honey would be. And for this to be the darkest shade, and for it to be too light for my British white skin, obviously I have a tan, so I'm not my regular skin tone, but I'm still hovering probably around the NC35 at this point, and it is too light for me. NC35, that is a joke, that is the darkest shade. So that is a major issue. If you even have like particularly tan skin or deeper, then there's nowhere near going to be a shade for you, so then it's not even worth talking about for half the population. But anyway, that all being said, let's whack it on our face and see how we get on. Okay, so I'm going to be using my Sealer One Step Corrector, which is this sort of swirled primer, which is for skin tone correcting and brightening, and I always use this whenever I'm testing a new foundation because it is just a sort of pretty standard primer. It's not mega illuminating or mattifying or anything like that, and so it's not gonna affect how the foundation sort of performs as such, or like the qualities of it. It's just gonna give us a nice base for the foundation. So I'm gonna give it a little shake. It doesn't have a pump, it kind of has like, because it's a tube, like a squeezy tube, it has like a nozzle, so you have to squeeze it out, so it's very easy to get all the product out. There's no waste, as you can see. It's a very thick foundation. It's like hardly moving on my sponge at all. So let's go. So obviously without a pump it's hard to know how much you're sort of using. I always think like a pump gives you a good indicator of how much they think you should be starting off with, as to how much is in that pump. I guess that would be like a really decent pump size, which has done that section of my face pretty well. I mean, colour wise, obviously you can only kind of see my neck, which is the lightest part of me right now, and it's definitely too light. It's got a really strange smell. It's quite a strong smell. It's not unpleasant, but it really doesn't smell like a foundation. It almost smells like an alcohol, like something you would have in a shot that wouldn't necessarily taste that nice. definitely really nice coverage. It's like covered everything in that one layer. So I'm going to do another little bit on my forehead, and then let's see how that's got on. So I've used about what would be like the sort of standard kind of 2/3 pumps of most foundations. That's kind of the amount I've used, and it's given me a really good coverage. Covered the totally my redness, the majority of the discoloration that I have on my forehead, and everything is looking really smooth and really matte. It is a very matte finish. It doesn't look dry and flat like some matte foundations can look. It looks fairly natural actually for a really matte foundation. To me it doesn't look like really cakey and mask-like. Just looking really close up now. It's definitely starting to go into my smile lines like every foundation more or less does. I don't really feel like it's yet emphasizing texture. I have quite a bit of texture around this area of my face here, and I wouldn't say it's minimizing it, but it's definitely not making it look any worse. The color for me, it's maybe slightly on the pinker side from what I would normally go for, and it's definitely way too light compared to my body. So yeah, but I'm quite liking it so far. The smell is a slight thing to note, because I'm not really bothered by smells, but if you are, I think this would bother you, because it's not a very nice smell, and it's definitely, I can't smell it at all now, but as you're putting it on, you are getting sort of whiffs of that. So if you're someone who that really bothers, then that might be an issue for you. It feels totally dried down now, so I'm just going to do a quick transfer test and see how that gets on. It feels very soft. There's no like stickiness or tackiness, so let's see if it's going to transfer. It's not sticking, that's a good sign. Absolutely nada on there. Now let's do a quick flash test before I put anything else on my face that might interfere with that. So as expected, there's no SPF in here, so there's really no white cast. Obviously my face does look way lighter than my body, but that's just because this colour does not match me, and there you see one of the big issues with this foundation and its colour range. So let's do the rest of my makeup and then I'll be back. Hey! Okay, so that's the rest of my makeup now on. I didn't have any issues as far as like it catching on anything or anything going on top of the foundation like funny or not right or anything like that. No issues whatsoever. But having said that, there's just something afoot. I'm just not quite sure now looking at it with all my makeup done. It is just quite flat, and I guess that's like partly just my preference to use a more like luminous finish or a more natural finish foundation, because this is, now that everything's dried down, everything's on top of it, it is very matte. It does look so flawless, like absolutely flawless, you know, perfect. Everything's gone down really nicely on top of it. It looks beautiful, and I think in like photos and things like that, it look really beautiful. Of course, if you have really oily skin and your natural oils are gonna start sort of peeking through, so it's not gonna look as like matte and flat as it does on me, because I didn't have oily skin. It'll probably work way better for you, but for me right now, I'm just like feeling like looking at myself, I feel like I look a bit dead. It's too flat for my personal preference. But I'd be interested to see over the next few hours how, you know, as it sort of settles in and just starts to wear, how it starts to look then. But yeah, right now it's very flawless, it's very full coverage, which I guess is just like not kind of my preference, and that's all it is. now that I see it with all my makeup done. But yeah, it does look absolutely flawless, absolutely matte, absolutely perfect. Just maybe too perfect for me, maybe. But we'll see how it goes. So it's just gone midday here in the UK. So we're not going to try out the 24-hour wear test because crikey, that would be too much. But we're going to give it 8 or 9 hours and then I'll come back and let you know how we've got on. So see you later, I guess. Bye bye for now. Okay, and we are back. Now, I left my phone over there. However, from there that we are at 20 to 9. Foundation has now been on for 8 hours and 40 minutes, approximately. So sort of first impressions before we get up close and personal are just that this is a very full coverage foundation. It looks very immaculate throughout the day. I sort of, you know, where I kind of just checked out in the mirror to see how it's getting on. I've always just been like struck by how flawless everything looks, how kind of perfect and smooth, and how matte it looks, and just very flawless, just flawless. It looks really beautiful. For me, it's been quite a shock because I just don't really wear this heavy of a foundation, this full of a coverage on a day-to-day basis. And today has just been a normal day of me running around the shops. I had a beauty appointment and met a friend for some cake and coffee. Just had a really nice day, and it has been warm, so you know, we've given it a good test and everything. And actually from here it just doesn't look like it's really wearing at all. I had sunglasses on today and you can kind of see a tiny mark, but again, nothing like what I would normally get from, you know, you get those little glasses marks there, way less than normal. It's worn, I think, really well actually. So let's zoom in and get a closer look. Okay, so it has sunk into my smile line right there, as you can see, despite me packing some powder in there today trying to keep it out, but it didn't work. And you can just see that little bit of that sunglasses imprint, but I mean, I struggle to know if any foundation on this earth does not make those foundation lines. Just on the tip of my chin, just here, you can see some redness poking through as that's starting to disappear off of my chin. It's also, I don't know if you're going to pick this up on camera, but the tip of my nose is breaking down just slightly. My forehead, this is like my glowy bronzer, but my forehead is looking a little oily, which is very unusual for me. I don't normally get oily at all, so that's a concern. And you can also see that I'm slightly oily around the sides of my nose. And again, that's not something that is normally an issue for me. So I feel like the foundation, for some reason, is doing that. So that's kind of everything I have to say about this foundation. For the price, I feel like it is a really good solid foundation, and if you like a full coverage matte foundation, then I don't think you could go far wrong with this, particularly for the price point. And the fact that you get 35 mils when most foundations you get 30 makes it even better of a deal. Is it going to look perfect after 9 or 10 hours wear? No. But then lots of high-end foundations don't do that either. I'd be nervous of using this if you have oily skin because, like I said, it seems to be making me slightly oily. So if you've got oily skin, then maybe certainly give it a tester first, or get someone to try it on you in store if you can do that. But if you're looking for a good quality, full coverage, matte finish foundation for a bargain price, I don't know how you're going to beat it, to be honest. Real thumbs up for me. Would make, I feel, a pretty good bridal foundation as long as you really use a decent setting spray, a really decent primer, and you set it with powder. I feel like it would make a really good budget foundation for a wedding, because it does photograph really beautifully. It is really flawless. It doesn't look cakey or heavy, and it seems to be pretty good on the lasting side, but maybe just needs a bit more help to make it last that little bit longer. But yeah, I'm pretty big thumbs up from me. Let me know what you think in the comments below if you've tried it, especially if you have oily skin, how you got on. Please don't forget to like and subscribe before you go so I can see you again. Otherwise, take care for now. I hope to see you soon. Bye 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 bye.